Listen, it's going to be an amazing day today. You know what we do here at Bouqui'S Place? We don't talk about the glitz or the glam. We talk about the things that really, really matter. The questions that plague human beings. Who am I? Why am I here? Why do I do the things I do? And all these things. So, we have a very special guest in the place to be. And his name is iLLBLISS, Elite Chapeau. He's going to talk about growing up, all the things he had to do, the cost of greatness, because we want you guys to know that, listen, man, this thing is not easy. Destiny, you have to grab destiny like this. Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll for the one and the only iLLBLISS.
Hey, Bouquie, what's up? How are you? I'm all right. I'm doing good. And you?
I'm well, man. I'm well. How is
Good.
COVID treating you guys?
Ah, you know the Nigerian story now. Like we're getting through it, but it's been a lockdown. It's been a lockdown for weeks. I don't think I've really gone out like that for just up until recently. So people have been indoors. Been trying to stay safe. Because then again, we're almost never really prepared for anything. But that's another conversation for another day.
That's another
Yeah,
conversation.
that's not for today. But I
I
mean,
know.
we're here. We're hanging in. The numbers just keep growing in a very scary way. So we're just trying to make sure that we stay safe. And we quarantine properly, and that's it, man. You
That's
know,
it, man. But
yeah.
you're
How
still
about
dropping
you?
stuff, man. Huh? Oh, well, listen, I'm in the suburbs, so it's
Yeah.
like it's the numbers are not large, so we're just still walking around.
Oh,
It's so
oh,
amazing to see people walking around, just still feeling like there's nothing going on. Yeah.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Which are the states? I know you used to be in California, but
Yeah, I'm
then,
in Delaware. But
oh wow.
New Jersey's like an hour away, and it's
Yeah,
crazy. New
that's the
York
try.
is like 2 hours away, and it's really bad as well. So we're just lucky.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's the tri-state.
Yeah, the tri-state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They don't even
now,
let people
wow.
cross in. They don't let people cross in from Jersey into Delaware.
So it's no
Keep
longer
your
the
keep your
tri-state.
disease. Keep your disease. Yes.
This is crazy, man.
This is.
Thank you for having me on your show, nonetheless.
Hey, you're
You know,
welcome. You're welcome,
I've been
man. You're
following
welcome.
you. I watched all the other episodes. The one with Rugged Man, the one with Helen Paul as well was very thought provoking. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, it had to be you. It had to be you to put it together. So shout out to
Oh,
B.
oh, don't start, don't start. And you know why? I'm bringing people, legends that it's not only enough to say I'm a legend because I started a long time ago. No, I know people with substance, people
Yeah,
that have
yeah.
something to say. Because I take a look around me and I
Mm,
see a lot of things, imagine me having an identity as a doctor for like
mhm.
20 years. Oh, like, a doctor is still safe. That's still a safe profession for now, right? Imagine me being a
Mhm.
banker for like 20 years and in the twinkling of an eye, it's ripped from me and it's taken from me. You can imagine that's crazy. Where do I start from? So
I
people are in a
know.
season where
Hey, shout out to Jigga. Shout out to Jigga. Jiggy, Jiggy,
so
Jiggy. I know.
people are in a situation where they don't know who they are, they don't know why they're here. Everything is just muddled. So we bring people
Yeah,
like you that have been there. Because now I have a
yeah.
dream in my heart. I have a dream in my heart. It's budding.
Mhm.
But I take
Mhm.
my budding dream and I compare it against iLLBLISS's, finished product. And in my mind,
Mhm.
I fall short. I'm like, nah, I can never be like that because nobody
Yeah,
shows the grind. Nobody shows the part that you're sweating and you're crying. So that's
yeah.
what Bouqui'S is about. Tell us the
Mhm.
real. So we're just gonna pick it up. First of all, welcome to Bouqui'S Place. It's
Thank
such a
you.
pleasure
Thank
to
you.
have you. Can you say for me quickly? I am at Bouqui'S Place.
Okay, I am at Bookie's place. My name is iLLBLISS, and I am at Bookie's place.
Yes, yes, boss.
Yes,
Yes, boss.
yes.
All right, so we're gonna start from the very beginning. Your
Yeah.
name. Oh no, we know your name. how you started, where you were born, and then we'll take it from there. Yeah.
Okay, I was born in Enugu, Coast City, somewhere in eastern Nigeria. um, yes, I was raised there. I was raised there, and I also went to school there from primary school to secondary school, and then the University of Nigeria and Nsukka.
Mm-hmm.
And then I spent all of my formative years were in the southeast.
Oh,
It's not as crazy as Lagos, so it's almost like can I probably say Delaware and New York?
like where I
Or
am. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yes, yes, you understand because Delaware is quite it's chilled, to
yeah.
say the least. But New York is crazy,
Mm-hmm.
multicultural, filled with energy, all kinds of people. So that's how Enugu and Lagos is. But it's always been the hub of a lot of things. Like a lot of things grew from Enugu, from the coast city. Like Nollywood, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Nollywood has its roots, like its roots, deep in Enugu. That's where a lot of the formative years of Nollywood came from. And then the
Oh,
music as well. There's a lot of music that came out from there as well. But that's where I grew up before I came over to Lagos for service.
oh, you served in Lagos.
Oh yes, I did. It had to be
Yeah,
giddy.
yeah.
It had to be giddy, man. When I was in uni, I had a lot of Lagos boys that were my friends. They always used to oppress me with gear, man. I never knew they used to buy all these clothes at Mandela's. You understand? Some of them weren't even so new, and they were stunting. They come back with teams and different color teams, and they just be, But there was something about them. They were also very enlightened to a large degree, when compared to the guys that grew up. Most of us that grew up in the southeast, because some of us didn't really know any better. We were just in school, just um, not having platforms to express ourselves. But the Lagos boys always came through. They always had during the holidays. They always had a job to do. Always had
Mm.
some internship to do. So a guy in your class, by the time you guys are in second year, he's probably Cisco certified. He's probably an Oracle certified guy. Probably done internship at Google, USAID.
Mhm, mhm,
So when you
mhm.
come back and he's telling you about his dreams and his plans, you're looking at him like, huh? Yeah,
Yeah,
so
and that's what
yeah,
we're doing here. We talk about dreams and plans. So give us the
yes,
you've told us about growing up. Give us how you
yeah.
transitioned after service into music and how, the game began.
Okay, so when I came here, I knew I couldn't just do music because it wasn't, the music industry was in very formative years then. I can also remember the soundscape, the soundtrack to my youth service year, because I can remember the music that was thumping in the background in those years, and I'm talking like Remedies, like
Yeah,
Plantation Boys,
yeah,
like Rough, Rugged and Raw, or more
yeah,
that
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
So
yeah,
they had all those records bumping at that point. Then Paul plays Moshe,
yeah, yeah.
so those were the records. There wasn't too much hip hop at that point, too much rap music. Although people were on the ground trying to come up, but they weren't at the top yet. But when I came here, I got a job. So I got a job as a banker, and my service years was banking basically. I needed to get a job that could pay my bills. You know, I wasn't going to come to lack because I came in here very blindly. I just insisted I wanted to serve here because I had gotten tired of living in the southeast, and I just wanted something new, a new challenge. So when I came out here, um, a lot of people don't know, but I'll tell you a joke. A lot of people don't. I found out that Texaco was an exploration company when I came to Lagos. I thought it was a filling station. Yes, and please don't laugh at the southeast, man. That's so coming out here, I was trying to settle in. Then I started seeing different sectors, oil and gas, banking, So I said, okay, I studied the social sciences, I needed to, you know, um, try and find my way into a sector and start to get some sort of training. you know. So that's how I started to take the bank tests, and then I got one of the banks, and I started the grind. I was living in Ojudu, beggar, and I was going to work in VI, you know.
Wow.
So yes, so if you couldn't catch the staff bus, you go to beggar, you take a yellow and black bus, and head out through the back, not through Agidingbi Road. You head out through the back, you know, and access Third Mainland Bridge. Sometimes you stop in
Yeah.
Obalande, it's raining, and you have your umbrella, you're running. You're wearing a suit. I had just two suits at a point. As a
Wow.
copper now, yes. So it was a proper grind period for me. You know, just the whole culture shock of being in a new city, um, and being in a new job, being in a bank, like being entrusted with clients and accounts, and you know, you just had to learn on the job. You had to learn on your feet. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? Yeah. So those were. So that's what kind of like reshaped my whole thinking about. And in all of this, I was still writing music. You know, I could afford to go and do sessions end of every month when I got my salary. So I could go to the studios, pay for like 2 hours just to lay down 6 songs. The engineers hated me because they're like, what's wrong with you, man? You want to make album you don't even pay up to half session, so yeah. So that's what it was. That's pretty much how I started out, you know, till now.
So, how was the first experience of getting that sneak peek at I can do this?
Like, okay, so I'll take you back a bit. When I was in uni, I did a lot of performances in the university. So I was the lyricist. I was the people's choice. So after I graduated, if you go to UNN, there's a section near Ipo Ref where you have my face, Obi-Wan, YJ, some people that are UNN graduates. Our faces are like graffitied on the wall by the fine arts department. You understand? So, but coming out here, I really wasn't so sure how it was going to work because I had a job, and I had a job that couldn't permit me, you know, to be anything else, you know, but just a banker, like a trainee banker, you know. So, but I just kept making music. During the weekends when I didn't have trainings or anything to do, I would I'll just go into the studio and record music, you know. And then I formed the crew with some of my friends from uni, with
Oh,
Obi-Wan,
oh,
BLX, may his soul rest in peace. We
yeah.
lost B last year. It's going to be a year next month, June 8th.
Wow.
And then Elajo, Amaka Chief Rocker. You know us as the Thoroughbred because you were
I
coming
was
up.
a
You were like
member now. Honorary member.
you were the fifth member of the squad. So hey, Matilda, Tilly Shots, what's up? I can see my people. They're all
Yes, so
coming in.
yes,
Yes,
so
sir. Yeah, shout out. Tilly is
shout
my, is
out,
my
guys.
person, family. You know, so we started out as the Thoroughbreds, a rap crew, and we started to make records. You know, we wanted to, we liked hip hop and soul music and alternative music, so we just bunched into a little group and just, you know, said, okay, let's put out records by ourselves. Around the same time that Bouqui'S Place was airing at Echo FM.
Echo FM. I
Yes,
remember I jammed to that song. This is straight hop.
oh
No,
my
no
God,
stop.
the airplay was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. But I mean, shout out to you. Shout out to Rooftop MCs.
Yes,
You know,
Kenny.
yes.
Yeah,
Shout out to Kenny Joseph. You
yeah.
know, these are the guys that put me on. The Dr. Flavor. You
Dr.
know,
Flavor.
these are the guys, the initial guys that I met in the media. These are the first. This is it. This is way before every other thing exploded and more stations came on. But this is how I became iLLBLISS, you know. So yeah, so hanging out with the Breads kind of now gave us projection as a group, as a team. So we started to do a couple of shows, started to do appearances, you know, and we produced an album. Although it never got released, but we did a whole 15, 16 track album, you know. And yeah, I kept my bank job because the music wasn't sure. So it was a grind. Over the weekends, we'll get together, put money together. I'll bring the most money because I had a job, Then my friends will also bring some of some money as well, and then we'll all put it together and try and pay for the sessions. A choreo mix was it totally out of our league. A choreo mix was where you were making some of your records because you were privileged as an artist, although you were grinding, although you were grinding, but you had the big board, you had the big console with the mixes. They could mix, like when first time we heard your records, they were playing it from the mixing boards. I'm like, wow, can, jeez, man, guys, Bouqui'S like a big artist, like.
Smokes and mirrors.
Oh
Smoke
my
and
God,
mirrors.
it was crazy, and you know that Eco FM environment was very formative for me because then I met a lot of people that were also on the come up, so we became like a community of artists that were trying to feed off each other's energy,
Do you
with no money.
remember? Do you remember how you knew I was a rapper? It will stay in my
I
mind forever. We were at Femina. We were standing together. So you guys, you know how guys do. You
oh my
guys were
God, I
walking
remember,
and
I
just
remember,
freestyling. And I
I
said,
remember.
let me go next. Everybody just
Yes, and then we looked at you because you had the wavy hair, so we're like, who is this proper girl that should be like, like, no, you can't rhyme. Let her not come and mess herself. And then you spit the most unbelievable 12 bars, 16 bars, and then you took off. And then everybody said, catcha, catcha, catcha. So for us, it was like, we saw you could pull up in your little car, and then you had you will play your records in, records like Oluwa, records
yeah.
like, I'm like, who makes this kind of drums? They're like Cobams. I'm like, you can afford Cobams. You understand? So a lot of those things gave us hope. Just looking at your music, and I'm not even saying it because I'm at Bouqui'S place today, but a lot of the music that we heard through you made it look like, okay, we can be able to still keep it real lyrically. We can still have amazing lyrical content and succeed as rappers. So it was you and Rooftop MCs that were like the things that inspired myself and my entire Thoroughbred crew, to be what we became or to grow into whatever it is that we became. Around that same time, Mode 9 was trying to get into the game from Abuja, the north, and there are some other things happening. The tribesmen, rugged man, that was the soundscape in Lagos at that point. All of that was happening. But this was my first taste of, just hanging out at Femina and just, seeing artists come and go, getting interviewed by Kenny Joseph severally. There was a day I'm like, Kenny, we're not going to do another interview. We did one last week. Because that was the only radio station that I had access to. You understand?
Wow.
But yes, it was that was home for us. But shout out, man. Shout out. We've come a long way.
We've come a long way, man. We've come a long way. I want you to
Yes.
share with us. That's a really interesting story, and namaste. I appreciate. I want you to
Yeah.
share with us those grinding times, the times that you
That's
second guessed
sorry,
yourself.
Buki. Sorry, Buki. Shout out to Douglas Jerkin. This is
Oh,
this
Douglas
is
of
the
BFF.
this is the chief executive
Douglas.
mogul of the PGM movement. Douglas has broken so many
I
new
was
artists.
sitting when he came in. I was almost out when he came in.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. When he came, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but I met him in
Douglas is
Abuja one time. I went to Beat FM. I went Rhythm FM. I met him in Abuja.
rhythm. That was
Yeah.
him. Douglas, I salute you, my brother. He's
Hey
such a
Douglas,
pillar
what's
for us.
up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us those times that you grind, like it was a voice telling you, listen, you cannot do this. You are not able to do this. You know, those voices that make you second guess yourself. You know, those voices that everybody hears them. What did you do?
Yeah.
Give us practical tools so that when we
Yeah.
hear these voices, we can shut them down. What did you do those times that you second guess yourself?
Okay. In between, I'm going to be doing the Tory Lanes. I'm going to be shouting out Chinwete. That's my man. That's my guy from CDFM.
Okay.
Shout out to him. They show me so much love. Shout out to him and the entire CDFM team. Bless you guys. That little voice is a very powerful voice. So challenges. So you see, coming up as a rapper in Nigeria is a totally different sphere. It's not this is not the same experience that the singers had. The singers were more tolerated. We felt like aliens. We felt like aliens that landed in a ship, and nobody understood what we could do or the potential of what Nigerian hip hop music would become eventually. So they literally did not give rap a chance, because today is a different day. When I look at people just blow up on Instagram, or just put out records and just put out a viral video on Instagram, and you have so many hits, or you just freestyle over a beat and you get traction. I look at it and I'm like, we didn't even have social media. So we were hearing that little voice very clearly. That little voice was always, speaking to us, and it was either you were either going to make it with the little you had, with the little resources you had, or you were just going to fall by the wayside. So many times I left. So many times I just told myself, you need to quit making music because you don't even have the resources to do it. Then your genre, you're fighting for genre acceptance. So minus even just being dope and unheard, and your genre, the genre that you fall under, did not have a lot of ways to express it. You understand? So it was, there were times I just just literally gave up the ghost and stopped writing music. But then again, I would just, there's some way you just hear something, and you just hear a record and you're like, but I can make music like this. This is what I stand for. Like I like Talib, I like Common, and I'm sure they have their own grind out there. I like Mos Def, I like all of these guys from, I like KRS-One, I like Biggie, I like everything they stood for. So even some Snoop Dogg and the West Coast, entire West Coast feel, and and I'm like, but all of these guys are grinding. All of them are going through situations. So I need to find a way to conquer my environment and make the best out of what I had. So I just became resilient. So we became like rebels. We became like rebels against the system. Like we were going to just go ahead and keep putting out records and keep trying to perform. Shout out to Ella Joe, my brother Ella. Yes, Ella kept saying, "Listen, we're different. We're different. We need to get
with
heard.
his
We need
hand
to."
like this. Listen,
Yes,
we're different. We're
she said,
different.
"Listen." He always used to wave that finger, say, Bouquie, are fake. You're not real."
Yeah.
But he was such a great sport. He's such a hopeful, optimistic dude. Sometimes I'll go to him and I'll be like, man, dude, from next week, man, I can't do these thoroughbred tracks. I need to focus on my banking career. The guy will laugh. He always used to laugh. Meanwhile, I was older. So I'm like, why are you laughing now? This conversation should be the other way around. You should be quitting. But he'll be like, nah, you're not going anywhere, man. You're still going to put out dope records. They will respect us in the game. So there were some things he said to me that stuck to my head. He just said to me, Illy, there's nobody, no two built like you. He had so much belief in me, and my other friend B Elect, B will come and just be like, yo, Illy, man. B was a Christian rapper. Even in uni, B used to be the KRS-One of Christian rap. You understand? So B would just come and be like, nah, man, you can't quit. You just need to keep putting in work. Just keep working so that you don't lose income. Look at us. We are trying to get jobs and we're trying to come up. It was a tough time. It was a really tough time, even financially for a lot of people. All we had was just our passion and our love for hip hop culture. All we had was just knowing that, yeah, that was all. Because I remember back in the day, you'd come and complain and say, oh, my label is slow, they're not putting out my album, they're not doing this, they're not, so, and we'll go and we'll be like, she's complaining, she even has label. yeah, so that's it. And somehow, some way, I continue to suppress that little voice of doubt. That little voice that voice could derail you if you're not willed, if you don't have a strong will, and if you're not very determined, you understand, about where you want to go and how you want to move, then you're just going to be depressed all the time. And then we started to move. We started to move. Hey, Black Genius, shout out. You see, we now have people like Black Genius, man. That's my man from Cool FM, and they continue to support hip hop culture wholeheartedly. You know, we didn't have a lot of Black geniuses when we were
We
coming up.
couldn't even get it. We couldn't even get airplay. Like we could not get airplay.
How are you going to get airplay? Plantation Boys had blocked all the airplay that was left for rap or for anybody. You understand? So it was difficult coming up, but I thank God because my job kind of gave me a cushion. So I'll go from being an artist at night, you know, back during the week I'll go do the Clark Kent and fly back into VI and go and be a banker. You know, so banking also taught me a lot. It also taught me a lot about, and you're just seeing the way people make money and the way people lose money, how people get into trouble if their businesses are not structured. So it gave me a lot of training that till today, I still look at, you know, Wale Ozoloa, Chi Wale, BFM Ibadan. You see the entire syndicate is in here.
They're all here.
yeah, shout out to Wale, man. That's my brother. You know, much respect to him. He's shown me a lot of love in the game as well. So that was my, those were the earlier years. And I have to say a big shout out to Mr. Obi Asika from Storm Records, like the founder of Storm Records, because at that point he also gave us a lot of direction and just made us feel like we were not weird. You understand? We were not so weird that he could create platforms on you know, that was when Channel O was beginning to pop up, you know, and then he could put us on, you know. And then of course dudes like Kwame from Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Yeah, so you see how many places that you've been, how many homes you've had, you know. So because we know when you even move to the record label there and how, you know, just all the work that you put in under them as well, you know. So Kwame also supported us a lot. FL Meregbe supported us so much. Yes. Shout out to Jigga. Why is he whistling and walking by?
Jigga, sit down and face the corner.
shout out to Jigga that was holding me down from Cosmo FM.
Yeah. Oh no, Jigga held us down at Cosmo FM for real.
Of course. That was our Eastern capo. He was in charge of the family in the East.
He said, "Shout out to iLLBLISS boys." Jigga, this is a serious program. Sit down.
And then, of course, before Cosmo FM, he was holding me down from Ray Power Lagos. So I mean, his family. That's my brother. Yeah, you know. So, and then after a while, we started to grow. Our notoriety started to grow. So they called us all kinds of stuff. Tribe Called Quest of Nigeria, Wu-Tang Clan of Nigeria. But the music was different, you know. So we just kept believing in the theory of differentiation, you know. And that's what just led us and that's what has led me to where I am today. Till today, even with whatever people consider commercial success, I still feel like I have a point to prove. Like I'm still there. I'm still putting in work. I'm still grinding like a rookie. Like I'm still standing at LTV quadrangle facing Femina. That's the thing.
Your mentality.
The mentality hasn't changed. It's just, and that was the training that we needed for this game. That's what's missing in today's music.
Wow. So tell us about those doors, you know, when you're hustling and, you know, you mentioned people, you gave a couple of shout out, you know, and tell us those doors that almost made you offended to the point of saying, I'm not doing this again. You know how you go to someone and, you know, they just shut the door in your face and it just makes you question everything.
Yeah. I remember the first time I went to Ray Power in Alagbado. So people have been saying, oh, you need to go to Ray Power. That's besides LTV and Eco FM. There'll be Ems, I see you, my G, Ems, shout out, you know. So before people would say go there and drop your music, then you couldn't even get to the reception because it was like holy grail. First of all, I had to go and drop our singles there, and they just turned me back at the gate. So I just stood there basically waiting, watching cars driving, and I'm like, okay, but it's just a radio station now. I just want to drop the music, and they were like, you can't walk through the gate. Drop your music in a box. So I put it in a carton, and I don't know whether the music is. I mean, eventually we broke into all those stations, but it was madness just trying to get your music to play on radio. And then I'm going to address this Alaba issue. So when it was time to record my debut, when I recorded my debut album, I took it to Alaba. So I got in a bus, took day off from work, got in a bus, and drove to Ojo. That was the first time I went to Alaba, and it rained.
Wow.
I wasn't ready for that terrain. If you're a Nigerian artist, I swear to God, and you've never been to Alaba, then you're not a total Nigerian artist.
I haven't been to Alaba. Don't say that.
No, I keep telling you you're spoiled now. You're like you're there cruising around. You have a label trying to put your music out. Like, we are the real hustlers, man. I took my music myself to Alaba to go and look for ways to, So I had this record then called You Go Wundo, featuring Kel and Suspect. So
Yeah.
I had it, and I had a couple of other records. I had Okwa, that Igbo boy, chilling in the club buying drinks anyhow. And when I got to Alaba, so they pointed like a plaza, because they operate in plazas. So they were like, you go to that plaza and see if anybody will be interested. I was just hustling open-endedly. I didn't even know. I just had a bunch of people like Tijo, Uba Pacific, Abu Ventures. I had heard they had put out records. I know that Tijo put out Mood 9's album, so it looks like El Dorado for us. I heard he put out. He also put out the Tribesmen compilation, 2 short albums. So it looked like he had a bit of bias for hip hop. By the time I got there, he said he didn't have time. He didn't have space in his rooster. That his hands were already full. So I now went to some other plaza and sat down with some of my Igbo brothers. They were sitting down there eating abacha. Do you know abacha? Have you eaten
The
abacha
yellow
before?
one.
Why are you calling it the yellow one? What's that?
Like starch, Abby.
No, it's not starch. Yeah, it's abacha. It's abacha. Google it though. Google it.
Tell me now, is it the yellow food that like eba, but it's like starch?
No, it's not. It's not that one. That's not that one. Abacha is strips. It's like, babe, what do they make abacha from? So. Cassava.
Yeah, I know it.
Oil bean seed, cassava. Sorry, I'm stealing menu from wifey. So that's, yeah.
Shout out to Mrs. iLLBLISS.
Yeah, so Mrs. iLLBLISS, Bouqui'S shouting out to you from Delaware, where they don't take lights. When did your lights go off? When was the last time your lights went off?
I can turn it off so that
I'm a big celebrity. You can switch it off. You're whack. I have standby generators. That's so whack. You understand? People. But I mean, hey, so I got to Alaba. So I was talking to them. So we oily hands. They slot in my CD and they were playing it, like about 10 of them. So I was seated there. They were like, So I had some hip hop songs, some dope hip hop songs like Could Bop Your Head to, that were very lyrical. They were like, I'm going to interpret this for you. So they said, Nanka amanle. No, afia. You know what it means? This one wouldn't sell. This one was not going to sell. This one, does he want to trade? Is he sure he's ready to make money?
Did they know you could speak Igbo?
No, they didn't know. I just let them, I just let them. The lights are back. Lagos is walking. You understand? So and then I just let them just break it down, just basically. So also that trip to Alaba also taught me how to make albums for Nigeria. how to make albums for Nigeria, how to how to make albums with a street ear, because everything you thought you had figured out, everything you thought, all that excellent music you thought you had put together, just a bunch of traders, with oily hands and a lot of money and a lot of just allowed your butt and just told you, man, this thing is not, it's not going to work. Oh, this one, the people no go like them. But you see, that was our reality then. That was the only way that music could be distributed. I mean, today is a whole different ecosystem. There's Spotify, there is iTunes, there's all kinds of platforms, so you can put out your music digitally. So I left iLLBLISS that day broken. My wheel was broken, and I was sitting in the bus. The bus didn't have windows, so rain was beating me. And I was just looking at the whole trip, being in traffic, my CD in a brown envelope, my music trashed by a bunch of guys, that I had gone to for distribution there. And they were like, have you ever heard of a guy called Terry G? Now in the scatter everywhere now. So he can make a collaboration with Terry G, which means just go and get a collab with Terry and see how it goes. And that's what bettered my song, Ayekbogo. Yeah, that's what bettered it. And that's the record that kicked the door down for me and put me into brought me into the faces of people. And that's where the journey started. So I came back and I started to look at everything, the whole formula, and started to look at the things. It was one thing to rhyme, to write some of those introspective bars and thought-provoking bars, but you needed to sell it. You needed to be able to sell it or be able to sell your brand, so to speak. So those things kind of broke me. That trip to Ray Power and Jiga said he gave me good air now. Yeah, cow.
No, but that's true. I was going to say that. I was actually going to say that.
Yeah, shout out. But the truth, bro, baby. Like when I look back on it now, I know how they think. I know. Okay, like I'm sitting down there. They're like, nah, the chorus, why chorus didn't What push it back? Like the chorus should be the first 5 seconds. So this whole attention span issue in music, like if you don't catch the audience in the first 5 minutes, the first 5-10 seconds, you're on your own. So I learned that with the way they were looking at music, and like, I need to do something upbeat. I need to do something that people can move to and dance to. That Nigeria is a tough place for all this slow music. The guy said, "Why Egugi this slow?" It means in Igbo. Why is your music so? Sorry, I'm speaking a lot of Igbo, Bouqui'S, but I'm trying to capture the moment. I'm trying to capture the exact mood of what was going on. So I was looking at myself. I'm like, I'm inspired by the greats, man. All of this, my Nas inspiration, Tariq Kweli inspiration, Pharaoh Monch, The Roots. I'm like, I need to rework my entire formula.
Wow.
You understand? And I just, when I got home drenched, I said I wasn't going to do this music again. No way. This thing is too hard. I'm just going to stay in banking, as boring as it is, and just keep it moving. But Bouqui'S, that little voice, the other side of the little voice, the good side, not the terrible side. The good side just kept telling me, Ili, you need to win. You need to win. Go, challenge yourself. Do something that can also still be thought provoking and still be dope, and people will get, will buy into it, And that's been it, books. Now I'm on my 6th album. I'm putting out my 6th album May 29th. So I look at all of this, and it still forms the experience. The way I have recorded each and every one of my records, I'm still in iLLBLISS, even if iLLBLISS hasn't distributed my album since album 3. But I have it at the back of my mind. Then we went to a lot of shows that we got tossed off stage. Our mics got disconnected. I remember a show at White House on Towing Street. That was the official launch for Nigerian. Shout out to Maka. What's up? Yeah, so and we were performing, and a same known comedian, I'm not going to say his name, just came and so the crowd was going mad. We were performing Street Hop, Panam, Bam, bam, bam. We're rapping. Bam. It ain't mainstream, no underground. Finally crowned Nigeria's realest. Sort of
Hey!
day. I say, people were just. Then Elijah came, my turn to make the mic born. And see, after a
Oh!
long time, thoroughbreds had to connect like side bonds.
Like
Black on both
sideburns.
sides. Black on both sides, most definitely. So the crowd was going mad. In their minds, there were probably some British rappers that came for the show. You understand? Hey, I see wifey. That's how that's my wife. That's
Hey,
my wife.
what's up, wifey?
Yes, sir. So she's laughing. Oh, she must really like this chat because she doesn't enter any of this chat. She's always
I think
in
it's
her
me she
world.
likes. She likes me. Obviously, she
Really,
kind of
right?
likes you too.
No, she loves me. Don't go there.
Okay, okay.
so I mean, um, we got tossed off that stage.
Why?
Yeah, we got tossed off that
Was
stage
I there?
because you must have been there. You were there at every. I'm sure you were there when Biggie died. I'm sure. I'm sure. That was about a hip hop, that we were all consuming at that point. You understand?
Wait,
See, you cracked it.
they tossed you off the stage.
Yeah, they told us together, okay, and now thank you, the Miggity Figgity rappers. That was it. That was a good performance by you know, mentioned one name that wasn't our name. And Mudan was waiting to come and perform Elbow Room. And Mudan was like, I didn't even get to my turn. And I looked at my guys, I said, we need to, somebody say I know the comedian. I was there that night.
Please
Okay,
tell us the name now.
maybe you might want to tell us the comedian. I hope the person doesn't
Tell
come.
us the comedian.
Yeah. So
Wow.
And then we went backstage and again we quit. Whenever these things happen, it just breaks your heart and you're like, okay, maybe because we're not like, then they put the band and Don Jazzy on. They were the trail of the moment then, So I'm like, but we were killing the crowd now. Why? What is the problem with this genre? What is the problem with this art form? Why is it so hard to tolerate? Why? So and then we looked at it and Ella said, we're never going to stop. I didn't even feel that motivated. I just went and said, this is nonsense. This is like a lot of crap going on. But, when are we then going to get the platforms that we could perform our songs and be respected, So I met that comedian years later and I had to do him a big favor, but I reminded him who I was. And I'm sure he pissed in his pants before. And he started to apologize, But I mean, it's all in the past now, It's all in the past. So these were like our formative years. Me, I was lucky. I'll be very honest, because I'll go through all of these things and I'll go back to the solace of having a job.
A job, yeah.
Yeah. So it would hide me. The job had its own stress. It had its own pressure, but I'll go back to it. Everybody just kind of understood, then my wife, we're just dating. So, I go to her, she loved hip hop as well. And she used to rap, so it wasn't like I had all the other ecosystems that could help calm my head down. That you understand. So, and then of
Support
course,
system. Yeah, you had a support
so
system.
I had support systems. I won't tell you I was sleeping in the uncompleted building. I'm not going to tell you all those stories, man. I came from the cold city. I had it walked out from the toll gates. You understand? I came here and I got a job.
You're a trust fund kid.
I'm not a trust fund kid, but I hustled my way up. I'm not trust fund. Nothing was given. God gave me everything.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Yeah. So, but I mean, there were those times, though. There were those times.
Okay, so now
somebody say iLLBLISS. Somebody say iLLBLISS. We need songs. What songs do you need? I put out a freestyle this morning. Go and listen to it, my friend. So sometimes you just go through situations that just potentially could break you.
Yeah.
Situations that probably you're never ready for them. But I know that there's something extra that God gave me, and I always pray for Him to keep replenishing it. And that's the ability to go through situations with a mind to solve the situation. So that you can look back at the situation and say, damn, that thing was rugged though. I think it hit me, but I came out of that situation.
I came out.
So yes, and I guess you build these things. If it doesn't come naturally, then I guess you build it with prayers. Then you build it with hey, Emmy Odunze, shout out. Ah, that's my G. Emmy is a gospel artist, man. Dope gospel artist. Is based in the States. You should look out for him, Bouquie, and you should show him the ropes.
Where is he? Where is he? Where is
he? That's my baby sister. Huh?
Where is he?
He's going to tell you where he is. So, Emmy, tell them where you are. I can't remember your state, man, but I know you're in one of those bougie states. Yeah. So just you hook up with Bouquie. She has the hookup for gospel music. She's going to show you. Yeah.
Don't mind
so, don't you? Are you? Don't you?
You know what? I was listening to your story, and I remember that Obino actually came to Nigeria. And what's the other guy's name? The other Alaba guy.
Tijo?
No.
Obino.
He has two names, like a combination, something of both.
They always have two names.
No, it was like, I can't
it's remember.
Not Tijo. Like the ones who came to take mine.
It's not Obino. Mama, say hey.
Hey, how are you?
Say hello. That's how she will scream and take off.
Yeah.
She wants to be part of the IG life. I can't remember who you're talking about though. Ike the Don.
Ike the Don.
Yeah.
Equipping people with practical tools. So you kept telling yourself that, listen, man, you gotta win. You gotta win. So this is a perspective thing, right?
Yeah, it's perspective, and you know, I'm very dogged, but quietly dogged. Like my own is okay. So we're going to figure our way out of this situation. I put out a record. Bouquie, I'll be honest, man. Everybody I came into this game with, they're falling by the wayside. I am the only one from that era, and I don't say from a point of pride or like I'm the smartest person. Like I stayed consistent in this game even when it was raining and I didn't have anything to protect me. I kept putting out records even when I had 10 people listening. And then the 10 became 100, and then the 100 became 1,000, and then it kept growing. You understand? So you see that spirit to win, that spirit to look back one day and say, okay, so all of this stuff is why I am who I am. This makes me balanced. Because you see, the thing is, when you go through situations and nothing is handed down to you easily, when you get there, when you eventually get to the point of the promised point where God designed for you, you then begin to appreciate it more. You then begin to be able to manage fame. It didn't come easy now, because the truth about it is, you put out records. When I put out iLLBLISS, it was banging everywhere. I had no money. I wasn't making any money from it. You understand? But the records were everywhere. You go to the clubs, it was banging. The radio. It took me 1 year to shoot the iLLBLISS video.
Wow.
1 full year. You understand? And you see, can you then see the era we're coming from? Now you do a song, if you don't shoot the video the next week, you start to panic. But then it took me a year. I printed CDs, made covers, moved from station to station. I was on bikes, traveling as a banker. I'll get to a radio station. People used to ask me, why are you always so dressed up for your interviews? They didn't know I was a banker. So I'll just show up there. Sometimes if I had extra clothes, I'll fold my suit, put it in my rucksack. You know, some Superman, Clark Kent moves, or just change into something a bit more casual and laid back. Do my interviews, change back into my clothes, run back to the office, and still hold down my day job. So that's the era that I'm coming from, because I knew nobody ever gave me anything. I always had to prove myself. Even at Co-FM, the first time Dr. Flavor put me on radio, I didn't have a single. So I just told him that I can rap. He said a lot of people can rap, and he just brushed me off. And then I said, okay. He said, unless you're going to spit 16 bars and prove yourself. Me, I always had bars, so I just spit. By the 8th bar, the guy lost his mind and he ran out of the studio. And you know, that also kind of influenced me in like always be prepared, like scout on or be prepared, be ready, so that when somebody calls you and says, show me what you got, you understand, you pull out your best, you know, your best cards. So back to what you asked about how people can build up, and you know, like people should pray for this the same way they pray for money, the same way, you know, they try to pray for mama, I'm on the phone, the same way they pray for strength, the same way they pray for God to bless them in all the other things that they should also pray for resilience and the ability to just the ability to soak up the pressure, because we all have stories. K9, I'm Trilogy Dot. That's my brother. What's up, man? How are you? So that's it, man. That's the books. I pray that when I'm going to write a book on my life, at some point I'm going to share some of the experiences that I've never spoken about. You know, I've said some of them already, but
share one.
Why are you so probing? Why do you want to know everything?
Left. I can't believe we have 28 seconds left. What?
28 seconds. That's what happens when you talk to Ili Chapo, man. Time flies.
iLLBLISS, man. Thank you so much. Oh my God, is it possible? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming to Bouqui'S Place. I love you. Keep grinding.
Thank you.
And
thank
God bless everybody for joining. God bless you.
Thank you so much.